Hello guys, we are Team Covenant, as you hopefully know by now, and we are going to be unboxing a data pack called Second Thoughts, and it is phenomenal from what
Really
I've heard.
good.
Right?
From what you heard, you haven't seen it?
I saw
just
it,
opened
I
it.
saw it.
I saw it.
But I haven't played with them. I hadn't built Ducks since World, so I haven't really experimented with these too much. So it will be definitely a theoretical exploration of Second Thoughts. As Tim has put these in his deck. Have you put them in a deck?
Oh yeah, I've played a lot of these.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's
It's a great pack for me.
All right, so you guys have a little bit more
I
of a
definitely
practical practical play test.
I have
Like
non-theoretical
First-hand
thoughts.
experience.
Okay.
First-hand experience. Yeah.
So, Tim, why don't you kick it off?
All right. Up first, we have a zero-cost 1MU program called Bishop. It is an Anarch card. It's 2 influence. It's a Kaisa program. Action: host Bishop on a piece of ice not hosting Kaisa. If already hosted, Bishop can be hosted only on ice protecting a central server. If Bishop is on ice protecting a remote server, or on ice protecting a remote server, if Bishop is protecting a central server, the host ice is -2 strength. So it can go remote, central, remote.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And the host ice is -2. This card is awesome. I was
I
playing
love it.
against, I think it was Bruggles the other day, and he had a ice carver and this on my archer, and he was breaking an archer with a mimic. And I was like,
yeah.
this isn't right.
It makes those Anarch Breakers, it makes the Anarch Breaker suite so much more significant and workable. I mean, it used to be you had to throw 3 parasites in if the unspeakable, like Toll Booth, came up on your Yogg or something.
Unspeakable.
And now, like, that doesn't exist. Like,
Yeah.
this, between Bishop and Ice Carver, like, you can get in anything.
Anything.
Like, everything bigger than that is a barrier or, like, a Janus, and you got to find ways around it. You're not going to just break that a lot. You just take some brain damage.
Yeah.
Don't matter.
Just take some brain damage.
That's always my solution, at least.
Yeah.
So I like it. It's a it's a 1MU slot. It kind of fits right into where I was putting Parasite in a lot of decks, and it's a consistent and expected source.
I think it's only going to get better too as time goes on.
Yeah.
We get bigger ice, it gets better, and then also as we get the console that goes with these programs, it's going to get better, and as we get Reina Roja, it's going to get better. It's just
it's just like Ice Carver. It just makes you spend less money on a run.
Mhm.
Works so well with Spinal Modem, Cyber Feeders. You can really make running so cheap, and I feel like Anarchs, by tearing things down, that's where their advantage lies, is making things cheaper for them, because they don't have the most money, but if they can get ice to 1 and 2 strength, they can just blow right through it with their Breaker Suite, and I think that's kind of what kind of game they want to play, and I love it. I think it's just massive, 0 cost. Come
Yeah,
on.
it's great.
Basically
Okay.
2 clicks for -2 strength. I think it's just good. Just good.
Yep.
Why not?
Anyone else think it's not good?
No, I think
because
you're
you'd be wrong. Let's go to Scheherazade.
Nailed it.
Fantastic.
That is a 0 cost, 0MU program. It's a daemon or a demon. Scheherazade can host any number of programs. Whenever you install a program onto it, you gain a credit.
I love this card.
1 influence. So, a couple of things to note first, right? If you're thinking I'm going to install all my breakers on there, then you can, right? You can. But
if it goes boom,
if it gets trash, you're done.
you're done.
Now, so you're hosting any number of programs. It doesn't subtract from your MU limit, yeah?
Hmm?
Am I correct on that? If this is hosting the programs, it still counts. You still only have 4 MU
Correct.
out on the board. Unlike things like Jin, which say it doesn't count against your MU limit. This still does. Obvious things that you would put this on are temporary programs.
Kaisis, even.
Who would have thought? So the chess programs, you install it on here, and then you click to move it to the thing and just gain a free credit. That's awesome. It's unique. You're probably only ever going to run 1 of these unless you absolutely need the consistency of that 1 credit, which I don't really see happening. Even just SMCs on here, like just random stuff, just to...
And even like imps are good on here because they're going to get past their wear and tear eventually.
Their data sucker on there.
Things that like aren't super important, not vital, so not icebreakers. I think that's going to be huge. I think Deep Red's also going to make this a lot better.
Yeah. This is all about chess, right? All about chess for me.
Yeah.
It is, right?
I think
Totally.
Yeah.
100%.
And that
Okay.
art is phenomenal.
I have no
Right.
disagreements at this point. No.
I feel like Noise likes this a little bit too. It's kind
And
of
it's only
weird.
1 influence.
Yeah. It's really good.
Like all Anarch cards.
This may give Noise the little economic boost that he kind of wants, you know?
Really, any deck that's going to be installing a lot of programs.
Well, this is great in Noise.
Yeah.
Because he's just overwriting programs left and right
Yeah.
and then reinstall. Like, that's great.
Totally.
Had
He
not
can
thought
put
of
his
that.
gins
Good
on
point,
this
yeah.
even.
I'll put
That
your
gets
gin on
weird.
that.
I'll put your gin on this. All right, let's move on past Scheherazade to a card that is awful.
Yep.
Robert, go ahead.
All right. It is the 5-cost hard at work. He doesn't look it. Resource. When your turn begins, gain 2 credits and lose 1 click.
This card is so bad.
It's the worst card.
Nobody likes this.
So it takes 5 turns to pay back.
Yes.
And
And then you've
then-
broken even.
This is
After 5 turns.
This isn't even the poor man's magnum opus. This is like the
You could literally
destitute
just
man's.
install a magnum opus for this.
Yes.
For 5.
It doesn't eat your MU though. It's so bad.
I mean, at this point in the game, a click is worth more. I think it's worth more or equal to 2 credits, if nothing else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
Like credits and clicks are not one-on-one anymore, because like a click, you can get like 3 credits out of a click now, or 4 credits out of a click if you're really like efficient in doing stuff. Daily casts and Katie and stuff.
Yeah.
This
And
is
even
not.
then, it's like I don't want to have my day be I'm losing a click for 2 credits. Like that's just not
Option
Like, I have 3
awful.
clicks on my turn now.
awful.
I'm gonna build a deck that runs 3 of these in a wild side. My turn
This
is
is
just
just,
automated.
you think to yourself, I'm gonna run this. I'm gonna get 2 credits and 2 cards every turn, and then run for my last 2 clicks. But no, you're not, because 2
If this-
credits is not
No,
really
you're not.
enough.
If
to
this
do that.
card costs 0 to install, I might run it.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I think it pairs really well with Wildside.
It would be a maybe if it was 0.
Like
This would make sense at 0.
I would see it played.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's
Right
the
now,
question.
you're not going to see it played.
Yeah.
Would you draft this card?
No,
Mm.
I would
No.
skip this card any day of the week.
No.
It's good for hate drafting.
for
Like,
hating
I would
yourself.
pass that on.
Yeah. Pass it.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that's not a good card.
That's no good.
Yeah.
It's just no
All
good.
right, next up, we have another blue card. 1 cost, Recon. It's an event, a run. Make a run. You may jack out when you encounter the first piece of ice.
I think this is good. It's snitch on a can.
Okay. Real problem with this card is it's blue and it's an event, which means you have
It's
to
fighting for
not
a lot
be
of
running.
other events.
Yeah, it's a lot of slots.
Are you gonna? I mean,
I'm
it's
not
in your
gonna run
blackguard
this card.
deck, right?
It's not my blackguard deck because it doesn't expose nice.
Oh.
Yeah, I won't run this card for a while. I might put it in a deck eventually for funsies,
Yeah.
but I don't see it making it into serious decks. Honestly.
I think it's just a little too cantrippy.
Cantrip.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
do.
well, I mean, and like
it's kind of useful, but
in late game, it doesn't really do. Like once the ice is on the board, it's like
I mean, it's the same reason why I don't run snitch right now. Why don't I just run and hit the ice? Like,
Yeah.
what's the worst that happens?
Yeah.
can't you just be prepared for the ice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be prepared for that.
Like the only reason I would run snitch is that it does something else because of the expose effect, like blackguard coming out. Like that's like the only reason. And this doesn't have any of those other things that could quantify that. Or like you just encounter the ice.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
Now,
can do that with a run.
I would run this in a draft.
Yeah, I could see this in a
I would run this in a draft hard.
It's gonna be our question.
So, I don't know.
for
I mean,
not
I think
great
I
card.
think it's an
Draft or not
okay
draft?
card. Certainly better than like exploratory romp or something right now.
But it's still not.
But it's
not.
just-
It's competing with 2 good of cards,
Yeah,
right?
we're
Like
looking
wouldn't-
at slots.
There's no
And
way
I'm-
it beats out Inside Job.
Good,
Like,
good, because we don't need any more ridiculously good
Yeah.
blue cards.
Agreed.
All right, up next we have a 1-cost 1 MU program called Copycat.
It's cool art.
It's really cool art.
Birthday candles here.
Whenever you pass a piece of ice, you may trash Copycat.
All right.
If you do, choose another res copy of that piece of ice protecting any server. The run continues as if you just passed the chosen piece of ice. You are now running from this new position.
That's pretty
So you're
crazy.
bouncing back and
Yeah.
forth. I think this is an extremely fun card. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's not a bad card, but I don't think it's consistent enough to make it into decks
It just
that are
re-
serious.
It's
Well,
one of those
not.
cards that absolutely relies on your opponent. I mean, they have to play 2 of the same ice. They have to res 2 of the same ice.
And they have to be in positions that you care.
And they have to be in positions that you want. Now,
Yeah.
this is also, I mean, it is the kind of card where, like, an early ice wall in front of the deck, and then it's like later on an ice wall hits another server, and it's like, oh man, I'm just getting into the.
Or,
That's
get it.
accurate.
or if somebody wants to get really crazy, they play this with an Escher or something like that. And
Still,
Yeah.
then you're
Here's-
talking about a
That's
lot
true.
of things.
That's true. That's a deck.
Here's
but they
what
still have to have
happens.
the 2 pieces
That's
of
true.
ice,
That's
and then
true.
it's
This happens once, and then they install over the ice. Like,
Well, you can't just install over the base ice, can you?
well, you can
yeah,
install
you
over
trash
it.
it.
And go on the
You
outside.
Trash
can
it.
trash any
Okay,
piece of
yeah,
ice
yeah.
in the server. So like, this happens once maybe, and
Yeah.
it's just not good. Like
Mhm.
I think this card will not.
Well,
see
you trash it
competitive
to
play.
do it, so.
I
Yeah.
think it's an
It literally
extremely
only
fun
happens
card.
once.
It's an extremely
could
fun
do,
card.
could do something cool with Femme Fatale with this as well. You know, there's some,
I mean, this shouldn't have been 1. I don't think. I think this should have been 0 MU. I mean, this is just.
yeah.
This is.
I think
not
that's probably the
a
real
card
problem here.
that you're gonna run.
Yeah.
That's accurate. And
It's
so
just
is this
not.
next one.
Too bad.
I
Little
love seeing
sea
all these
creatures.
crappy blue cards. By the way, it makes me so happy.
It's Darwin's bro.
Let's do this. I want to do this. I like whales. 6 cost 1 MU Leviathan. It's It's an icebreaker and a decoder. 3 strength, you can pay 3 to give them +5 strength, and you can pay 3 to break up to 3 code gate
so bad.
subroutines.
It's so bad.
In the game we're playing now,
This is so expensive.
it's no good.
The only code gate in the game right now that has 3 subroutines is Hourglass. So you can just run on the last click, and you're fine.
Leviathan, it'll be sitting there waiting. It'll be waiting 2
Gotcha.
years from now, whenever all of this nasty code gate thing comes out, and maybe you run it.
I mean, the only good thing about
You
this
run it.
is the art.
It's great art, and you can also do a whale deck now.
You could do a fish deck.
The old fish deck. Yeah,
Whales
that's
are
a-
mammals, everyone.
That's just a fish.
I call this deck fish chess.
Fish chess.
Yeah, this guy isn't good, is he?
Too bad. All right, next up, we have the 3-cost Eureka, which is a Shaper event double. As an additional cost to play this event, spend a click, of course. Reveal the top card of your stack. You may install that card, lowering the install cost by 10 credits, if able. Otherwise, trash it.
Not a fan.
I'm not a fan of this either.
Yeah.
There aren't enough high cost
There's
things.
there's only a couple.
Like Fim and Monolith are the only 2 that you really
Yeah.
care about, and you're a Shaper, so you're not playing Monolith because that's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then Fim
'Cause
is
that's
just so
terrible.
easy to install already because you have modded, you have Kate, and then you have to it's just okay.
Now,
Let's be honest.
I feel like this is a card. It's one influence cost.
Uh-huh.
So anybody could use this.
Mhm.
I feel like this is the card that, like, in 2 years, when we've just had a number of huge things that are out that you can drop down, could be a really, really useful card.
I agree. Like one day there will be a deck that's like
One
I'm just
day.
gonna run thousands of programs that are like 30 costs.
Just
Like in a
blind cast.
professor
I'm just
deck.
gonna blind cast all of them.
Now, I mean,
But-
when you look at the really this card, you're paying 3, you're
And 2
spending
clicks.
2 clicks. So in my
Mhm.
brain, that's already like 5 or 6 clicks worth of stuff, and then you're only getting 10 off the top. Now
Yeah.
you do get a free draw, basically, and a free install. So that's something worth.
That's the
noting,
double.
you know.
Like
So,
you're essentially getting 3 discount.
um,
And I mean, Shaper has the
Paying
card
for
where
it.
you got to look at the top of your deck, right?
yeah,
Motivation.
yeah.
But then
it
you're
does.
eating slots with a terrible card, and
I know.
it's just
Is it worth it?
Condition on condition.
Well,
it's really
yeah,
test.
test
really,
run is
test
test
run-
run is
test
the,
run's the better.
but then
Test
like
run.
that eliminates Monolith because you
But you can test run for a Fem, right? Use Fem. If you have this in your hand, you can play it next turn. Fem comes back in.
why don't you just scavenge the Fim and leave the Fim in play?
Why couldn't you just have both?
You can have it all, but like this just isn't here yet.
Bleh.
It's just not.
Meh.
I'm sad to say.
Meh.
This is me.
All right, Zach.
Yes.
All right, next up, we have Shaper Hardware, 0 cost, record reconstructor. Tim's shaking his head. I hope it's good. Whenever you make a successful run on archives, instead of accessing cards, you may choose one face-up card in archives and add it to the top of R&D.
So bad. Like it's so bad.
Now I know there's a reason for this. At some point, maybe
I mean, the only thing you could do with
put a
it,
shock back on top of their
you
deck.
could put shocks on. You could put like enigmas if you have a Yogg out. You can put cheap trash ice, just clogging up their draw. But then,
Put that snare back up there.
but then, but then it's just like why are like you could have like 3 of these out and run archives 4 times, and put 12 cards back on top of their deck.
Which doesn't seem like it's something you want to do.
It's not something you want to do.
Unless you just want to make the game stall out like crazy.
I mean, it gives you something else to do on your Run 3 Central score. The card that I hate. What is it?
Notoriety?
Yeah, notoriety.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people seem to like it. It seems
I
to
love
work,
it.
but I don't know. Are you gonna put this in?
I don't think so.
I'm just going to go put that card down.
All right,
Moving
up
on.
next. We have
Glossing over.
a 2-cost piece of hardware. It's called Prepaid Voice Pad. It's neutral. It's a gear. Has 1 recurring credit. Use this credit to play events. I think it's really good.
Is it enough really good to make it in a deck?
I think it's in a Shaper deck immediately.
Yeah.
Like Kate loves this card. I'm gonna pay 1 to get a recurring credit to play. Or what?
Yeah.
A Kate event suite deck.
Okay,
Maker's
events.
Eye, Test Run,
Yeah.
Mhm.
solid.
The card earlier you guys hated.
Eureka.
Haha. It cost me 2.
Now I gave you 6 credits.
Anyways, that's
Not much to say
pretty,
there.
Pretty solid card.
I don't know. I feel like you can do all.
I mean, it's worth noting that you can like use that recurring credit for hedge funds
Aha.
Hedge funds.
or sure gamble. Sure gamble.
I was like, wait a second.
Sure
Yeah,
gambles
I mean,
and
as a good friend of mine would say, it's not lighting the world on fire, but I think it's a solid card.
Yeah.
Especially on a
Solid
kit
card.
bag.
It's a one thumb up.
One thumb.
It's like a half thumb up.
I thought we were rounding up.
One thumb, not down.
There it is.
He's got Wotan.
You get it.
Wotan is unique.
Unique. Nice.
You guys. So, just to clarify, and I actually don't know the answer, but I'm pretty sure that I do. You can have 2 of these installed, but only 1 flipped.
Correct.
Okay.
And as soon as you flip the other one, the first one trashes.
First one try.
Ooh.
It's a barrier, 10 strength barrier. It looks just massively cool. The Bioroid ice is incredible. This is like a Poseidon type figure, which makes me awesome.
I think it's actually.
It doesn't make me awesome, but it makes me feel awesome.
I am now awesome.
4 Serpentines, in the run unless the runner spins 2 clicks, in the run unless the runner pays 3, in the run unless the runner trashes a program, in the run unless the runner takes brain damage, install program. Yeah, you run through this whenever you're trying to win.
10 string barrier,
It's
man.
a can of hurt.
Yeah.
5 influence. I'm not gonna lie, this was in my Jindeki deck for a while, and I loved it.
I'll tell you what,
For a while.
a well-tuned
I built a new
Anarch
deck.
deck with a Morning Star might be able to work its way through this.
Ha
I'm going to Bishop it, I'm going to get Ice Carver out, I got a Parasite on there,
Break.
a couple Data Sucker tokens.
I could. Does it? Yeah. I could
You run
this in
through it
my,
when you
Wayland
have
deck.
to.
It's it's just a powerful piece of ice.
It's really solid.
Yeah.
Like it's just
5 influence.
this
It's,
is
it's the Wotan.
it's the perfect R&D ice.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's gonna take a while.
Come on in.
If you have the means,
Come
I
on in.
highly recommend it.
Water's warm.
Watch out for shutdown.
That's right. Gosh.
Your HP. You
Is
can
this
charge it
Bioroid?
again.
Yeah, efficiency research is insane.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. Next up, we have the Hellion Alpha test. 1 cost. HB Operation Black Ops. Play only if the runner is. Play only if the runner installed a resource during his or her last turn. Trace 2. If successful, add 1 installed resource to the top of the runner's stack. If unsuccessful, take 1 bad publicity.
It's a great
3
card.
influence. I like it.
I think it's a great card.
That terrifies me.
I wish it were less influence.
For splash.
Like it's great. Like you installed the professional contacts last turn and you clicked it a couple times. Okay, cool. I'm gonna play Hellion Alpha test and now your professional contacts is back on top of the deck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's also worth noting that it's not the resource that they played last turn.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's just any resource.
Install Katie, click Katie, send Katie to the top.
Yeah.
I feel like it reminds me of I don't know, what was the card? Successful demo. Seems great, and then you get in a game and it's like, man,
I still think successful demonstrations.
Yeah,
are
it's
a card.
very
it's
good.
fine. The math is good, but like you have to just wait.
Sometimes it's not good. Sometimes it's nothing.
Sometimes it doesn't do anything because it's not doing anything for you.
I haven't had that problem with it. Like honestly,
I'm gonna end that run.
Anyways, so this
You're playing.
reminds me of one of those situations where it's like, what if they already just have all the resources out they're gonna play, and then you draw this and it's like this is a dead card.
Or they
So-
don't play resources, which some decks don't do.
Yeah, or it's like I mean, if you're playing Andy, who is super popular right now, they play a lot of the resources up front, and then it's like, if you don't have it then, and what resources do you really just want to get rid of for a click, a credit, trace 2? So you're probably going to trace to get it done.
Katie Jones and professional contacts are the 2 cards that you want to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
All day, like I'm willing to pay that cost.
Yeah. Get rid of them for a turn.
I feel like I'd rather
If
just
they have
like,
to install it twice, it's infinitely less good.
like if,
Yeah.
if I'm going to be concerned
Quite
about
a bit less
resources,
good.
I feel like I'd rather
You gotta
just
pay
tag
for it
them.
though.
Like,
But your HP, you have money.
if I'm really, if I'm,
But
if
your
I'm
HP.
super
What
concerned
agenda
about
you think you're running?
resources, I feel like I'd rather just tag and
Identity.
destroy.
Yeah, see, that's boring. All right.
I mean, you can do that if you can get tags. Yeah. I don't know. Again, I feel like this doesn't really.
And it goes back to their stack. Like,
I just don't think it makes it in.
I
So
just
cards
think
draw.
that there are some
I think it's a great card.
that you will want to run this on, but it is conditional without question.
Zach and Steven's sake.
Who's got this next card?
You do.
It's Zach.
no, it's me.
It's Zach.
Darn it.
I love 2-1 agendas. Clone retirement. This is a 2-1 agenda. It's a Jinteki agenda initiative. When you score clone retirement, you may remove 1 bad publicity. When the runner steals clone retirement, the corp takes 1 bad pub.
I love this agenda.
This
great.
is a very well balanced card.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hit it on the top of the deck, they get a bad pub. Don't hit it on top of the deck, they get an agenda point, and they lose a bad pub.
Paul love it.
It's so and like
And
there's
a
so
net
many
damage.
things for Jinteki.
Seems to be an agenda.
It's so good, but the thing about it really is it really makes Archer viable in Jinteki.
Yeah.
It gives them ice that's good.
I mean, a 2-1 too, just in Jinteki, 2-1 and they discard a card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You get a point, you remove a bad pub, they discard a card.
And as we all know, Jinteki at 5 is a different beast, which is why, prior to extra being run, it's like you can score your 2 2-pointers and then just chuck one of these out, and all of a sudden your traps and everything
Are active. They're
crazy.
live.
They are
Crazy.
alive. They are primary edition.
This is great.
Yep.
Good card.
It's one of my
And
favorite cards.
Jinteki doesn't really care about bad pub. It's not. I mean,
that is accurate.
It does not matter.
All right, up next we have Swordsman. It's a 3-cost, 2-strength sentry, destroyer AP. The runner cannot use AI programs to break subroutines on Swordsman. 2 subroutines, trash 1 AI program, and do 1 net damage. 1 influence.
Love the influence.
This
Yes.
ruined my day the other day.
Yes.
Man,
I'm so glad to
Crypsis
see this
went
card.
gone.
Yeah.
So glad to see
Yeah,
this
get
card.
Crypsis out of here. Get
Yeah.
Ottman out of here.
Mhm.
Get
I have
this
less of a problem with
nonsense
Crypsis,
out.
but Ottman, this does some Ottman damage right
Yeah,
here.
I'm so happy to see this card.
I am too. It
I
makes
also
the
love
game
this 1
infinitely more
influence.
interesting.
Yeah.
You always
one
have to be
influence is
worried
fine.
about
And
that.
and it's going to the corp that I wanted to have this card.
Yeah. Me too.
So happy. So happy.
It's everything about it's good. The art's good. The effects good.
Every corp should splash a couple of these until we run out that stuff out of the meta, and then we can go back
Yeah, totally.
to not having it in.
Yeah, that is the best attribute about this card, secondary to its effects, of course, is the 1 influence. Holy
Yep.
smokes.
Big
that art. Whew.
2-strength sentry with a net damage to you.
Yep.
You know, that's kind of annoying,
Yep.
if nothing else.
All right, what's next?
Shipment from Sansan, 0-cost operation. It's a double, so it costs 2 clicks. Place up to 2 advancement tokens on a card that can be advanced.
I love it.
Very cool.
It's a great NBN. It's an economy card. They can now score a 3/2 out of hand with a res Sansan from 0. Before it's like, oh, you're at 0. I don't need to worry about that Sansan this turn.
But you do.
Now I do.
Mm-hmm.
I think this also works.
It's also 1 influence.
I think it works phenomenally
Yeah,
in HB.
watch out.
Efficiency committee all day. I'm gonna gain 2 clicks and then play this to advance twice and score agenda because
Yeah.
it's not advancing; it's placing advancements.
Wow.
Good call. Really good call.
That's its best use. I'm not sold on this card.
I think it's great. I really do.
As an NBN player, this is not going to get the slot. I mean, you're spending 2 clicks, which you would spend anyway to advance, so you're saving 2 credits, and that's basically it.
To me, it's just about the threat of this card, really. If you're at 0 credits, used to I was not afraid of the Sansan.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. At worst, you're gonna gain a credit, install, advance once, and score breaking news, and then you're 0 money again. But now it's like you can score a Astroscript from hand with this card at 0 money.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, well, I have to trash that Sansan now. No matter, I have to. I can't let you score the Astroscript.
I mean, the curious part is like,
That's just so many variables.
if what it's really doing for you is netting you 2 credits,
Yeah.
are there better ways to net 2 credits?
well, there are better ways to net 2 credits, but you're netting 2 credits and advancing the card.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
I don't know. It's interesting. 1 influence to me means it'll probably find its way in some decks.
Efficiency, the efficiency thing makes sense to me in Bioroid.
Yeah, I like
but
that.
But like, aside from that, I think a threat of NBN scoring an Astro that they might have in hand with a Res Sansan out with 0 money is a condition that does not happen.
I'm not saying
enough.
even has to run this card, but the fact that it exists,
Yeah.
I have to question it now. Like, I have to respect that is an option.
Yeah.
Sweetly.
Interesting card.
Interesting, I say
Yeah.
the least. I don't think it gets
Verdict's
around.
out.
I don't think it gets around.
Who's next?
Me.
Robert
Me?
is.
Okay. So we have the Muckraker, 5 cost. What is this? NBN, 3 strength, Ice, Sentry, Tracer, Illicit. When you res Muckraker, take 1 bad publicity,
That
followed
art.
by traces increasing from 1 to 3. If successful, give the runner 1 tag, and then finally end the run if the runner is tagged.
3 influence. I think
Right.
this is an okay
Interesting.
card.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if they have any link at all, this card becomes terrible.
Which we haven't seen yet. Nobody, like Andy has 1 link and that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
But
it's not
yeah,
like what it used to be.
if they run link, you're hosed.
Well, you're just not going to res it.
Pretty much.
It's
Yeah.
going to be a dead card.
Bad pub.
I
not
feel like it's a little expensive.
amped about.
Honestly.
I don't know. It'd be expensive to get through if you're not.
It is a lot of subroutines.
I mean, Mimic breaks it
Yeah.
for 3.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Mm-hmm.
I big like MBM with money that sits back and passively tags through ice with data ravens and annoying traces and sentries and stuff could make use of this. I don't like the bad pub. MBN of all corps, I think.
I think this
just-
works well with Chila.
Yeah. Yeah, it totally does. Totally does. But every time I get on that rabbit hole, I lose. So maybe
I
it's
love
there
this.
finally. But
I don't
it's
know.
it's a decent piece of
Interesting
ice.
Love this card.
All right, next up, we have a Wayland agenda. It's a 5/3. It's called the Cleaners. Agenda Security. Whenever you do a meat damage, do 1 additional meat damage. This cost me a game with the plugged in Tor
I think it's good.
at the challenge deck.
I
Nice.
mean, I hate 5/3s. I hate 3s, personally.
Yeah.
I think that this is a deck.
Yeah, it's a deck. It's a deck. It's
It
good.
is. The extra meat damage can be.
There's
Yeah.
damage is significant,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Probably the
4
Speedy
cards
Force for
isn't
6.
safe. Yeah, that's great on PSF. Scores for 5 is huge.
It's a big deal.
Scorch is huge.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you have a plastic out, doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
They're double scorched.
Yeah.
It's also a really
Good
good way
about it.
to lose a game before you can scorch them. Just saying.
Yep.
You know, it's like, oh, I'm gonna die next turn. Well, I'm just gonna run R&D 3 times. It's like, oh, I win.
Yeah. 3
Which
points.
does happen sometimes.
3-pointers are just so terrifying, man.
Yeah, I don't know. 5/3 is a bit hard to get around, but
Mhm.
the advantage is okay. It's pretty solid.
I mean,
it's a good threat.
It certainly belongs in Wayland, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think if anyone can really legitimately get 5/3s, it's Wayland.
Yeah.
I've had many games lately. I'm not playing the deck with 5/3s in it, where it's like if I had a 5/3 down and it wasn't a 1-point agenda,
Scored all day.
this would be cake. It's like they're not getting in. There's just no possibility. So
I love the flavor of this card as
yeah,
well.
I'm really interested to see where
Mhm.
this goes. I think it's a good agenda
And definitely, this is one that will lurk
Yeah.
for the rest of the
It's a-
game.
It's a lurker.
for the rest of the
Yeah.
game.
Watch it.
Absolutely.
Up next, we have Elizabeth Mills. She is a 2-cost unique asset. She's an executive. 1 trash cost. When you res Elizabeth Mills, remove 1 bad publicity. And as an action in trashing her, you can trash a location to take a bad publicity. I think she's good. I think she's only going to get better as time goes on and we get more locations.
Totes.
And more reasons to have bad pub.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
If Noise Shop wasn't as out of the meta as it is right now, I think this would get a lot better.
No show.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think it's good.
Yeah.
Sure.
I like it. I mean, as a Wayland player, I tend to get quite a bit of bad pub floating around. And a decently cheap way to knock that down could be a really big economy play against a runner that likes to run.
I mean, and as far as that goes, like you can install this in your big server. They break through all the things. It's like, okay, I'm gonna res her and remove bad publicity.
And then you can trash her for 1. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
Or you can res her mid-run, which might be cool, right?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah,
it's
they
like-
think they've got the money and they don't.
Well,
Well,
if
they
they've
get it all
already
at
in
the
the
start,
run,
right?
they already have it.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking, trying to be sneaky, and you can't be.
No, it's at the beginning of the
So,
run.
yeah.
But still, I mean, again, my deck likes to make people run. So if I can make you run, I do it with Jackson Howard a lot.
Yeah.
And then you get there and it's not worth it. It's like that's always good.
Trash your location. Yeah, like you said, it's going to get better and better as time goes on.
Yep.
And moving on to Off the Grid. Is it me?
It is.
All right.
I love this card.
I kind of delayed around here because this card, I've seen it and I've thought about it and I've come back and forth on it, and it's like, I just don't know how to feel about it. 6 cost, Off the Grid upgrade, install only in a remote server. The runner cannot initiate a run on the server. Whenever the runner makes a successful run on HQ, trash Off the Grid.
I love it.
I love it too.
I think it's super fun. I think it's super flavorful.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's a deck here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it's weak to some things, but what isn't besides Andy?
Mhm.
No, I'm just kidding. I think it's just a super fun card. Like,
Yeah, I love the flavor of it so much.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think it's well costed for what it does.
I'm just picturing like
On the trash
an
side,
HQ
too.
protected by like Hadrian's and an Archer,
Mhm.
and then it's like I res this guy, and it's like, oh my lord. So now to get there, I'm gonna have to go through that and
Yeah.
then that. Like
Yeah.
to do both is pretty phenomenal.
Sure.
So I think this is actually a really great way of scoring 3-point agendas and making it super. Because Wayland, generally, I'm not struggling with money. Like I've got like 25 in my credit pool.
Yeah.
So I'll pay 6 just to have this, and then I'll advance twice, and it's like, all right.
Come on,
Good
even
luck.
if you can get an HQ.
Yeah, it's gonna cost you everything.
It costs you money and time.
To get an HQ and then get into the server.
Yeah.
It's gonna cost you so much. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
true.
Yeah, I think it'll pose a conundrum for a lot of players that are, build this deck and give it a shot, where it's like, I protect HQ and then I lose the game to R&D.
Mm-hmm.
And so next game, like I protect R&D and then I finally get HQ protected, but I did the time didn't work out.
Yeah.
I can't then install this in a remote, and then so balancing the ice and having all the pieces together certainly will be an issue. But I think you can streamline it enough where you might be able to pull this off.
Yeah.
Not relying on it, but just kind of using it as a
Yeah, I think even
potential.
just as like a 1 of or a 2 in your deck.
Yeah.
For late game scenario, you get to 4 points, and it's like, it's really a way to make it where you're Wayland. It's like you can't get in, but this means,
Yeah.
good luck. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
gonna have to spend a click to run there, a click to run here, and you have to have the money to get in. So
Mhm.
it just makes it difficult for sure.
All right. Well,
What's
Robert.
hilarious is you have two of these in the same server, and you have one rezzed. They run an HQ, that one trashes, then you res this one.
That's awful.
Oh wow.
Hilarious.
Yeah, you have to run. There's no way at that point.
Yikes.
Good game.
I mean, that will cost you 12.
Well,
but
then, yeah.
Yeah, that's it right
I
there.
just thought about
That's
that.
the money ball.
That's crazy.
That's cool.
Yikes. All right, next up, we have a neutral agenda. It's called
Bonkers.
Profiteering.
So good.
3-1s,
It's a
baby.
3-1, and it says when you score Profiteering, take up to 3 bad publicity, gain 5 credits for each bad publicity taken. That's cool.
It's great.
That is really cool.
I've used this card so many times. Like, I love 3-1s.
So
We've
good.
gone down this road a lot. Man, it's like, I'll just gain 10. Take 2 bad pub. That's
It
cool.
makes so much sense in a scorched style deck. Just so much sense. Bad pubs
Also,
do
the-
not care. Money
do
now.
The
not
art on this
care.
is not only great, but it tells a story. I
The
love it.
warehouse fire.
Yes, and then watching the stocks skyrocket.
It's you notice it's got public sympathy in the background there too. The
Nice.
public sympathy check under the
Love
warehouse
it.
fire.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal card, man.
Yep.
Like, I've used this, and it's so every early game too. This is just exactly what you want. Exactly what you want.
Yep.
I was playing a game the other day with Shinteki, and I scored this card. I took 10 money. And the next turn, I scored a clone retirement.
Remove bad pub.
I have one bad pub.
Yeah.
And I score another one.
Worth it.
Oh,
Yeah.
done.
This is really good right now. It will be less good as more if the corp has bad pub.
Mm-hmm. Black
You can do like blackmail one.
Mhm.
You can make a run. They can't res ice. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
So, I love it right, now though.
it's
In the
great.
meta right now,
Here it
it's
is.
And
nuts.
now we get to probably
I
this
mean,
is
the most
card.
obvious and
Yeah.
great card in the
Yeah.
pack. Yeah.
Restructure. It's a neutral transaction operation. It's cost 10, gain 15 credits.
It's a
Net
money card.
6 in Wayland.
Sure.
I mean, come
yeah,
on.
they're going to be making so
Yeah,
much money now.
this makes my
Ugh.
life. I've been running my Wayland deck. It makes my life so awesome.
It's so good. I think most corps find a way to run that card, at least initially. You know,
Mhm.
at this
Yeah.
point,
I've
some of
had-
them will cut it because they just sit in that 8 to 7 range, like I do sometimes with NBN fast. But
I think Ambion's the only one that can't consistently have 10.
yeah,
Like,
Even then, I
Jinteki's
mean,
there now.
if you're at 7 or 8, being able to spend a turn to get to 10, and the next turn you just like once you get past that, it's
yeah, it really
phenomenal
explodes
what
out.
you can do. And that I've had so many turn 1 like hedge fund, restructure, put an ice front of my deck, and it's like go ahead.
That's
It's
great.
like so bad.
Yeah,
It's so bad. I have
Yeah,
so
it's
much
rough.
ice or
It's
so much
just an
money.
ice wall. No, I'm just-
Yeah, and a lot of times it is, but just having that much money that early makes your life so much easier.
it's
to
big.
play.
All right, so second thoughts on second thoughts. The joke we wanted to make all video.
I think it's great. I think it's not
Standouts.
great for runner.
Standouts
Yeah,
to
it's a
me,
core pack for sure.
Bishop I think is the best runner card in this pack.
I would agree with that. Bishop or Shahrazad.
Cool to see some
Mhm.
Anarch love here. Wotan, a nice little throw out to the Bioroid players.
Shinteki got a lot of love.
Shinteki got Clone and Swordsman, which is nice.
Yeah,
Ambien, I
restructure.
think they're playable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Muckraker, I think, is fun, worth experimenting
Holy
with.
awesome Wayland pack.
Yeah,
Wayland's
this is great for
awesome.
Wayland. It's really great for everyone. Restructure and
The
the
neutral
neutral
cards.
agenda are just
Both neutral corp
Yeah.
cards are solid. So, there you have it, guys. It's second thoughts. If you want it, I almost said don't have second thoughts. Oh my gosh. It just presents itself everywhere.
Just keep going.
If you want it, you can get it from our store. We love that. So do that. It's a great pack, and we love talking about it, talking to you guys. Any last words? Final things to say?
this game only gets better.
The game
That's
only
right.
gets better.
Get it
Enjoy
right.
Netrunner. Keep watching our videos. We really do appreciate it, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
See ya.